to my YouTube Live. Today is our monthly card class, and we will be using the Sweet Bugs bundle, the stamp set, and the dies. So I'm really excited for this class. I think the cards are super cute. So you can follow along with me. If you're watching the replay, you can follow along. These cards are adorable. And I will send you all the supplies to make all 4 cards for free with a $50 order in my online store. The link to shop is in the description of this video. You will get everything that you see here today minus the bundle. It's all the cardstock, the layers, the designer series paper. So anything that involves like stamping, you'll get the cardstock for that, but not necessarily the stamp. I can't send stamped images, so you won't get that. Here's what I mean. Let's move this out of the way and I will show you card number 1, which is this one. So because I have a limited supply, the little die cuts, these actually come from the designer series paper. I won't be sending those, but you can use whatever you have. I'm sure most of us have several stamp sets, bundles, those types of things. So you can stamp and die your own, but this die here cuts out that from the designer series paper. And then I use the B from the designer series paper as well. So let's get into making the first card. So this is what is included in the kits. You'll get the card base and then the layers. And now some of the layers might be different because, again, I only have a limited supply. So you might get like a different pattern, but you could even use the back of this. It's super cute. And then the basic white for the inside, and then the die cuts and pieces. So this is what you'll get for card number 1. This one is super quick and easy. There really isn't a whole lot of friend from the stamp set. And again, like I said, I used the dies from the bundle. Let me grab a block. And then some Mossy Meadow ink. I'm actually only using 3, technically 4 colors for all 4 cards today. So Mossy Meadow, Early Espresso, Secret Sea, and then Memento for one of the cards. So all the ink you'll need. And again, if you have different patterns, different colors, different papers, you can definitely make these cards what you already have. So I'm just inking that up in Mossy Meadow. And that's it for stamping for card 1. Super quick, super easy. Clean off my stamp set quick. This Stampin' Scrub is actually on the last chance list, which blows my mind because it's the only way I clean my stamps. I know a lot of people do like the chamois. I personally love my Stampin' Scrub. Can't believe it's going to be gone soon. Okay, now we can just put our layers together. So grab your favorite adhesive. I'm going to be using Seal. And then we're going to take our smaller piece of designer series paper. And when you place your order, you'll also get the PDF that has all the measurements. So you can recreate this again and again and again with all the supplies you have. I'm going to put this layer down here. And then we're going to just attach this. Actually, before I attach it, I want to use some ribbon. I love ribbon, but I'm not great at using it. So for this one, we're just going to kind of eyeball it, and we're just going to do a simple little wrap around. So I'm going to take this, put it there, and just wrap it around. That was probably too big of a piece, but it's fine. And then put it on our designer series paper. I like that B poking out a little bit. Run some seal over that. On our base, and then let's put the inside of the card in. This is Blackberry Bliss. The card base. I went with little blackberries there. And then I did use seal for the sentiment. And I just lined it up with the basic white piece there. And then for the caterpillar and bee, I did use some Stampin' Dimensionals. Let's go with 3 of them. And a happy accident, my nails actually have little bees on them, and I'm using a bee. I just thought that was kind of, I didn't do that on purpose. It's a complete accident. Put that guy right there. And then put our little caterpillar up top like that. And then for embellishments, I went with the really pretty brushed brass butterflies. Find my take your pick tool. Just add a couple of those. Right there too. And that is card number 1. Super cute, right? So set that aside and let's get out card number 2, which I love this card. It's so simple, but so cute and uses a new product, which I'm really excited about. So in your kit, when you spend $50 in my online store, you'll get the supplies to make this card as well. So you'll get the Early Espresso card base, the embossed layer, the inside, Mossy Meadow, the designer series paper, and 2 of the scalloped blooms die cuts. So let me show you these dies because these I think are my new favorite. I'm actually using these dies on the next 3 cards. I love them so much. So they nest in with each other. How cool is that? And I love these labels here too. So actually for one of the cards, we're using that label as well. These are my new favorite. The stamp set that goes with them is beautiful as well. And it's got these great phrases. So I did buy the bundle because it just makes sense to buy the bundle, right? So let's put this to, oh, and I wanted to show you the embossing folder I have here. So it's the Eyelet 3D embossing folder that I used for that card. So pretty. You know what? And I just realized I didn't check. Okay, I just wanted to check my sound that it was working, and it sure is, because that would have been no fun. All right, and for this card, we're doing, again, minimal stamping, but we're using the Early Espresso ink. And I'm going to go again with the Hello Friend, just because I like how it fit inside that circle. So I shouldn't have put that one away, but that's all right. And you can stamp. I usually like to stamp first and then die cut, but in the interest of time, I didn't want a 2-hour video here. So I die cut everything first because I wanted to also show you what comes in your kit. Do my best to center that. Hey, I think I did all right. So now we can put our card together because that's all the stamping we're doing. Well, for this card. The next card, you'll see it, but there's a little coloring happening because I have to color something. I love to color. Just take some seal and make sure you line up so it kind of nests in there. Or not. You can make it wonky too. That's fine. It's your card. You can make it your way. So then this piece is perfectly flush with the bottom and the top, but there's a little bit on either side. And then I just kind of put it off center a little because I wanted that embossing folder to poke through. And then this can go right on our card base. And then let's put our inside piece in. And you can stamp the inside piece. I often don't, but I know a lot of people like that and do that. And if that's something you do, feel free. And then for our sentiment, we're going to pop that up on a few dimensionals. 3 should suffice. And then I just kind of put it a little bit towards the bottom, but I also want to watch my pattern. So I want that guy to show. So we can cover, kind of go lower with that one. And then for an embellishment, I went with the Ladybug Garden, the epoxy dots here. So I'm going to grab my take your pick tool again. And we're going to do the putty end because I want these little, they almost to me are like water droplets. And I'm just going to kind of randomly put 3 of them. And that is card number 2. I'll let you take a look at that while I get out card number 3. And card number 3, we are going to be coloring a little bit. Move these aside. This is card 3. So in the kit, you'll get the Old Olive base, the inside piece, the petal pink layer, the Old Olive square, and then 2 designer series paper layers, a scrap for your die cutting, and your sentiment, that's your sentiment piece, and then one of the scalloped labels from that scalloped blooms die. So it's this one here. So let's start with our coloring. So we need some Memento ink because when you use Stampin' Blends, like I'm going to, they are alcohol-based markers. So you don't want them to bleed. So you want to use Memento ink. I have my black here. We're going to grab these little ants, and I cannot use these ants without thinking about the ants go marching. You know, being in a preschool 4 days a week, I think about kids songs a lot, so I always hear the ants go marching. I'm just gonna stamp that onto our scrap paper and then move that aside. We also need the mushrooms and the flower that's in the grass. There are 2 flowers. There's this one, and then there's one in the grass. That's what one we'll be using. And then the Love You Lots sentiment. Clean off my block. And then I just used the Memento for the sentiment for this because it's out and handy. I'll grab my sentiment strip. Perfect. And then for the mushroom, we'll use this one and then that. And then this is going to go on our label. So I did the flower first, right in the middle towards the bottom. And then 2 of the mushrooms. Perfect. And then let's clean the stamp so I don't stick my hand in the and then for coloring, we are using 4 different colors. So I have Poppy Parade, Old Olive, Pecan Pie, and Lemon Lolly. And for the Lemon Lolly, we're actually just using 1, but they come in a combo pack, so I thought I'd show. Let's go with the Poppy Parade first. I'm going to start with the light. And I'm just going to do the tops of the mushrooms. And I didn't do the underneath because in the paper, the underneath is white. So I just did the tops and left that underneath part bare. And it's okay if you don't get them perfectly because we're going back in with the dark. Oh, and I also wanted to do the flag that he's carrying, or she. And as I'm done with them, I like to put them in my storage so that way I don't lose them. And I just have the Stampin' Up! Blend storage. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I did get a little bit on there, but that's okay. It's a handmade card. They're not perfect. So then I went in with the dark lemon lolly for the little trumpet here. And the flower. Put that away. I didn't use the light. And then the old olive will go in with the light and the brush tip just for the grass here. And then if you wanted to, you could go into the flower here. Actually, I think I'll use this end for the dark and just kind of do a little shading. I think mine is dried out though. Old olive, I think, is one of the first colors of blends I bought when they first came out. So I think I need to replace them. So now I'm going to go in with the light pecan pie and go over all the ant faces in the middles. It's a very quick color. And actually, if you didn't want to do this, you could die cut the ants right out of the designer series paper. There is a sheet that matches. Then I'm going to go in with the dark, and what I did was like this middle here and then every other one, and it just gives a little bit of dimension, a little contrast. And that is it for coloring. So now I need to get my dies. And we're just die cutting the ants. So when you die cut them, they do come into 3 separate pieces. So I'm just going to step over to my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and die cut these very quickly. Stuck to my magnetic mat. Sometimes they get stuck. I like to grab my take your pick tool and just peel them up. So now we can assemble our card. So this piece here is a piece of that berry paper, but we're going to use the other side and put it right on to the edge of our petal pink. Like that. And then our designer series paper. I do love the other side of this too. It reminds me of like a picnic tablecloth. I'm going to put it right there. And this is going to get popped up with a few dimensionals. Actually, no, it's not. It gets put down with seal. The rest get popped up with dimensionals. So kind of in the middle. And then we are going to put this down. I really hate to cover up that mushroom, but that's what, you can actually go up if we wanted. let's make it a little bit different. We'll go up to the top for this one. And then I need mini dimensionals because these guys are tiny. If you don't have many dimensionals, you could always cut your standard ones to fit. Stuck to my nail. All right. So I think because we moved up our little piece, we'll put the sentiment still towards the bottom. Put it right down there. I actually think I'm liking the look of this one better. And then we'll put our ants. Him leading. And I liked the look of the one with the flag in the back there. Oops, took the dimensional right off. Okay. There. Put the little one yelling. That's what it looks like to me. So I'll grab some seal, pop this onto our card base, and then our inside. You cannot forget the inside. And our embellishments. And again, I used the Ladybug epoxy. What are they called? Ladybug Garden epoxy shapes. So I actually grabbed a ladybug. We'll go that way. And then 2 of the little rain droplets. Like that. So that is card number 3. Let me put my stamps away. We do not need any of these ones. We do, however, need, see, this flower for the next one. I'll get that out and show you. And I also need the singular flower, the spread joy, and these little tracks. So you can put our flower on a D block. Our tracks like fit there, they do. Spread joy can go there, and the flower. And this one, we're kind of creating our own designer series paper. So in the kit, you will get the card base, 2 pieces of basic white, a strip of Secret Sea, and then again, I used those Scallop Blooms dies to die cut right from the designer series paper. So we have a little butterfly blowing bubbles, and then 2 ants carrying the blackberry, and then one of the dies created that label from the Scallop Blooms. Let's get out our Secret Sea. We'll do the sentiment first. And just right in the middle. And then take one of the basic white pieces. Doesn't matter. They're both the same size. And I started with the flower. And you're just going to want to stamp this kind of randomly a few times. Make sure you kind of go off your paper a little bit. One down there. And then we can do these little, these, to me, I don't know, I call them bug tracks. I don't know what they actually are meant to be, but that's what they are in my head. And keep in mind that in the middle, we're going to be kind of covering that up. So if you mess up or try to keep it in the middle so we can cover it with our. And now I'm taking the flower and just kind of filling in any gaps. I did get this card idea from the Stampin' Up! Website. I'm actually casing one of their cards. And again, I'm making sure to go off the paper a little bit. So that's it for the stamping. Put ink pad away. Let's clean up the stamps because they're a little messy. And again, when you place that $50 order in my online store, you will get this kit and all the supplies shown. I suggest getting this bundle and then maybe the embellishments because that will put you right at over a little bit over $50. And you have until Tuesday to place your orders because on Wednesday I have another fun special coming. So every order placed from today until Tuesday will get this kit with a $50 order. Just putting away my blocks. And now we can assemble it. So I just took this piece of secrecy and it almost acts like a ribbon. And just kind of right in the middle, a little below middle. And then we're going to take some dimensionals on the backs of these. So I wanted to place the big scallop bloom first. So we'll put that right about there. And then place the little butterfly there. And now you'll get different pieces when you get your kit. They might not be exactly the same as what you're seeing here. Then put the spread joy right there. And again, for embellishments, I use those same Ladybug Garden epoxy shapes. I wanted it to kind of look like raindrops. And then we can add this to the card base. Don't forget your inside piece. And it looks like I just ran out of seal, which is perfect because that was our last card. So that is card number 4. Let me bring the other cards back in so you can see. Tell me in the comments which card was your favorite. It's card 1, card 2, card 3, and card 4. Again, you have until Tuesday at midnight to place your order of $50 or more to get all the supplies to make these cards plus the PDF with the measurements and instructions on how to make them. So I hope you enjoyed this month's card class. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.